Let's see. Okay, how are we gonna do this? All right, tell everybody where they can find you and what you do. How about
Okay,
that?
why not? So, what do I do? So, I help people with actually letting go of toxic behavioral thought patterns um, and behaviors so that they can really step into the, their highest self and their best, most accomplished self. And I like to think of it as a limitless self, you know? So,
Hmm.
my brand is called Limitless Her.
Okay.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's limitless.her. And on there, I post the content about what I do. I love sharing ideas about how you can overcome your negative thought patterns just with that piece of information and content, and really help inspire people to just really step out of their old selves that they feel held back by, and just lead a life of peace and passion and love.
Hmm. So explain your old self to me.
My old self was really, yeah, I mean, I'd say my old self was really in a I felt stuck in my old self. That is the best way I can explain it. I felt really trapped. I felt really stuck. And I felt like that everything around me was working against me. I felt like my relationship wasn't right. My job wasn't what I wanted it to be. I wasn't following my passion, and then I kind of started to even forget what that passion even was after a period of time. Um, and really just neglecting myself, neglecting my health, neglecting my physical health, neglecting my mental health, becoming lazy and exhausted all the time. Um, it wasn't I really, that was a really, it was a state that I was in, and I was just holding myself back, and I wasn't thriving. And there was always this, I remember it so clear, there's always this niggling voice in the back of my head, which was just like, is this it? Like, this can't be everything, because you're capable way more than this. Like, there was this little voice in the back of my head just saying, come on, like, this isn't you, like, you need, and
Hmm.
so that was really, I describe my old self as that type of person, as in that
Hmm.
it was in that state. And it took a lot. It's taken a lot to kind of actually get out of, not even get out of it, but just evolve and grow from, and really kind of change my mindset, and outwardly change how I lead and live my life.
Hmm. So you said your old self felt like you were stuck, felt like your relationship wasn't fulfilling, felt like, a shell of yourself, kind of.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I feel like those feelings were correct.
Yeah, they definitely were, because yeah, you're right. They definitely were, and what's even funny about it in a way is that, you know it was my own mind that was keeping me there. I wasn't being held ransom. I wasn't being told what to do. I wasn't. It really was my own mind keeping me there, and the decisions that I made at that time that kept me in that place of being stuck. But I obviously soon came aware that subconsciously, you know these decisions that some of these decisions that I made, if you're not consciously making decisions in your life, your subconscious mind takes over, and that has its own way of keeping you as safe and as happy as possible, believe it or not, even if that means you sacrificing your health, even if that means you sacrificing your well-being or your happiness, just to feel, for example, in my case, a sense of security and safety and protective, and having someone there who could protect me and lead the way when I just felt too exhausted to do that. And obviously there was so many more layers in
Mhm.
that. But for me, the biggest thing is that unveiling of how much of your life lessons and your life experiences actually impact that unconscious thought process that is keeping you in this negative or in its own mind, it's keeping you in the right place. But for you at that moment in time, it doesn't feel like a good place to be, and it's something that you want to change. And then it comes this like push and pull, this push and pull.
So like you're nervous, like subconsciously you're getting little nudges saying, this isn't right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not right. But consciously you talk yourself out of it, but like, well, what else would I do? Like I'm at this point, I don't have enough courage to be independent. So I'm codependent on this, maybe not the perfect fit for a partner's protection and stability. Even though it might be toxic in some ways, your nervous system and subconscious doesn't care. It just knows that you're alive. So it's gonna try to repeat what has kept you alive so far.
Right, exactly. And even if that way of keeping you alive isn't the way to keep you alive and living your life, like right now in this present moment, right? It's like these old, because here's the reality. Reality is always changing, right? So we change, and we need to, and we evolve with it. Either way, we're changing, whether we like it or not. Things are changing. So it's really like, why is it then useful to hold on to old thoughts, old ideas, old responses and reactions that served you once before, to now, which is completely different and ever changing? It's a completely different reality and world till then. It's new time, new rules.
Yeah. So what clicked for you where you're like, all right? Or was it an accident? Was it someone else that intervened to be like, listen up, Tiffany, it's time to get your shit together. Like, I know you're not happy.
I don't think it was a particular person, but it was more of a build up. I started to feel very depressed and very anxious, and I used to cry myself to sleep at night, and that was enough for me to really know that something really needed to change. And I kind of kept myself in that place for a little while, and then there came an opportunity. Okay, so it wasn't people.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. There was, and it was to do with. It was a moment where we had to arrange other living arrangements, because he was going to go to a different part of the country, and I had my job in the London, and then he had something else in another part of the country. And it was a case of deciding to keep the flat which we were staying in which it would be costly, or he moves somewhere and I move somewhere. This wasn't actually the thing that really, this isn't the biggest change, but this was the start of the change. 100%.
It gave it a little momentum space in between.
Yes, right. So what ended up happening, even with a little bit of resistance, there's a bit of dispute, but I knew in my heart and mind that I needed to move back home. Like, I just had this burning desire in me was saying to me, Tiffany, you need to move back home. Make sure it happens no matter what. So I literally made sure it happened. I moved back home, and that is when things started to shift, because the distance was there, and also I felt like I could do there felt like there was things I could do which I didn't feel like I could do before, and for whatever reason,
not to interrupt you, but
okay, no, like things like, this might sound really crazy, but things like painting my nails, in that relationship. Now, I'm not, this is the situation when someone makes a comment who you want to please, and someone who you really love makes a comment about not having, like, they're not liking nail varnish. Obviously, for me at that time, my instant response was to not wear nail varnish to help keep that person happy. And that was kind of the place of thinking that I was at the time. So, but I love painting my nails, and for some reason I gave that up just to have the
kind of
love.
Like a little bit of a submissiveness
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and
Like fall
that
in
was kind
line.
of, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And I think that I'm in in that situation, I made a decision to make changes to myself, and to keep that other person happy,
Hmm.
um and I started to do those little things again that gave me personal joy, like painting my nails. And I started kind of maybe wearing certain clothes that I like to wear, like colored pants, and just the ways of expressing myself. I spent more time with my friends, and I spent more time with my family, and reconnected with the people that I like, who I love absolutely, and they've been there
Yeah.
all these years. And and then I started to kind of remind myself of the things that I found joy in life, being creative and art. And and it was that doing that which made me realize that I had to let go of this relationship that I was holding on to for so long, because I wasn't myself in that relationship. I wasn't being me. And so not only was I doing myself an injustice, not only was I holding myself back, but I was allowing this person to be in love with a version of me that wasn't actually me,
Mm.
you know? And I remember thinking, oh, I could just be that person around this person. But and there's probably some truth in that at that time. Maybe I could have chosen to be just the person I wanted to be, and things unfold as they unfold. But as I've kind of grown, I've come to realize more about energy alignment and values. And there's so much more to a relationship than just, there's so much more to a relationship, I think. So it was
Let me,
like,
sorry. Let me ask you a question. I like to screw up your flow state.
go for it.
You get in this rhythm, and I'm just gonna. my curiosity is burning. So, where did you learn to be submissive and fall in line? That's what I want to know.
Oh,
Because
that's an
it didn't just start in that relationship.
no, it didn't. And it's interesting because I have a mixed heritage background. So my dad is Indian descent and my mum's an English descent. And I think,
That's quite the dynamic. That's
right?
completely two different cultures.
It completely. And completely. And the thing is, and I believe I absolutely love Indian culture. It is the most beautiful thing. I love India. I love everything about you know, I love everything about my cultural identity.
Some chicken masala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chicken masala. Yeah, and gobi and dog, we call
Yeah.
it. We
Yeah.
have all these lovely, amazing dishes.
Mm.
But it's interesting because I see myself similar to a lot of people, a lot of Indian girls as well, who have that similar cultural background. Because when I was brought up, I think my dad really wanted me to, be a part of his culture and our culture, be a part of the Indian culture, and make and experience it. Because maybe through kind of marrying a white woman, or having that element in from a really traditional household, I think it was quite important for him to uphold a certain upbringing. And I think that meant also, education was really important, making sure I was home at a certain time, making sure I was doing my homework. And, these are great things. But at the same time, I think
Because you need to
it
be
kind of,
a doctor or engineer.
and yeah, like something great. You have to do something great. Yeah. But also at the same time, I think that as I was growing up, I'm a dad. Me and my dad have a solid relationship, and I really wanted to please my dad. I really wanted to keep him happy by, delivering on the good grades. And I used to go into competitions and I used to win these competitions and feel great. And it used to make me feel even better knowing that my dad was proud of me and was sharing, and my mum as well, my family was sharing that with me. But I think that's where that's really what I became aware of, that it was this element of keeping keeping my dad happy, keeping other people happy, even if that meant me missing out on things that I wanted to do, such as going out with friends, or socializing, really, or kind of connecting with people, and learning how to maybe develop healthy relationships with the opposite sex as well. And it's really fascinating because you find out about women who have a similar upbringing as well, and they have similar behaviors that happen as a result. They go into these unstable relationships because they've never had that conversation with their parents about relationships, or what that looks like, or how to go about it. And there's some people who figure it out on their own and get it straight away, and there's other people who go through the experience of having an unstable relationship in order to learn that lesson of what it takes to be in a stable relationship. So I believe that is a stem of why that behavior occurred again in the new relationship.
Yeah, so you learned it as a child, basically.
Definitely.
Like we all do, right? Aren't we just all grown up babies? Just like with the same patterns, habits, right? We should just all be like sucking on a pacifier and wearing diapers.
Yeah, we should be.
And just waddling around.
Do you know what's really interesting? And this is something I learned when I was learning neuro-linguistic programming, right? And in neuro-linguistic programming, there's a focus on how your thoughts create your feelings, and then the feelings turn into then your actions, right? Because we act usually on how we feel. If we feel a craving for something, we usually act until that craving goes away. So for me, it was, I lost my trail of thought here.
Where are we going?
Literally, it was there, and then it just kind of went. And then for a second, I thought, hey, but do you see what I mean? Like, this is our thoughts can have so much control over what we do. So
yeah,
so it's really, for me, it's really important. When I learned NLP, I learned that actually it's the thoughts are what we are, is the conditioning which we have, right? When we're born, we're not born with thoughts. We're not born with thoughts. We just exist,
yeah,
right?
People just fill us up with the shit that they want us to think.
Exactly. So then we have these experiences that then create the thoughts. But then in NLP, what I learned is that those thoughts are just thoughts, right? Those thoughts are just the thoughts that create feelings. And actually, we can take those childlike states, of fun, and we can learn from children and how they live their lives, and how they freely live, and we can apply that to our adult life. And we don't have to be like we don't have to be like children, as in not knowing what we're doing and just pure instinct babies, children acting like that. It's like taking that essence of what we started off with, and actually applying that to like our grown adult life. And and I feel like when I learned NLP, it really helped me then differentiate between my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, and how I present that in adult life. So and one thing that one of my teacher programmed, he programmed it to me, was the element of having fun and life being a playground and a circus. And imagine if you lead life that way, it just becomes a whole world of a whole other reality,
Yeah. So explain what NLP is, neuro-linguistic programming, but a lot of people probably don't know what that means. So hit them with some knowledge.
Oh, let's hit. I mean, I do my best at explaining it. But neuro-linguistic programming obviously stands for, so we'll start off with neuro. The easiest way to break it down is through neuro. So neuro actually is associated with the neurons to your brain. So when we are born, right, we start learning. As soon as we're born, we start learning how to associate with our environment. We learn who our mother is, and we learn, okay, well, when I feel like this, that means I need food. So we start learning, and all those lessons actually create neuron connections in our brains. They fire up, right? I think we normally taught this like in school, I think, right? Mm-hmm. How your brains, I don't know. Did they teach that?
I think so. Well, now here in America, they don't really teach us anything besides what to repeat.
Okay. Exactly, right? Oh my God. But these neurons, they connect. So now when we repeat that action over and over, then obviously those neurons reinforce, and then they kind of become a little bit more automatic behavior. I don't know if you've heard of Pavlov. Is it Pavlov's dog?
Pavlov's dog. Yeah, I'm conditioned. Exactly. Ring that bell, I'm ready to eat.
Exactly. And then so when that dog's learning to condition the bell to the food, those neuron pathways are connecting in that dog's mind, right? So that's a neuro part of the linguistic program. So linguistic stands for actually how we communicate then with ourselves and our world. So we all have our own experience of reality, right? And our experience of reality is what we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we touch, what we taste. Okay, and that is our experience that we're limited to. And actually, through our experience, we develop our way of communicating with the world, right? So we identify, okay, well, and that with our thoughts, okay, for a simple thing, through our thoughts, we have thoughts. That's part of our internal communication, right? And then if we believe, for example, we're not good at if we believe, for example, we're lazy, then you know what, the outward communication is going to be a lazy form and a lazy state, right? We might have we will have a different way about us, versus someone who has the idea, okay, well, I'm not lazy. They might, they'll be a little bit more kind of maybe upbeat. There'll be a different way about them, right? So, and then the programming part is really what it's. I mean, programming, probably not the best word for it. I know Tony Robbins likes to use the term conditioning. Actually, he uses the term neuro-linguistic conditioning as it's one of his own organizations. Mm-hmm. But I think because he mentioned that programming sounds more like a computer, like we're going to go in and but really it is more about conditioning, right? Mm-hmm. And reconditioning your mind through the power of that language communication to actually change how change the lesson that you took from it, right? Change the way that you think about how your experience, or change the way you think about yourself or your experience of the world.
Mm-hmm. So how do you use it personally? So I know, so I'll tell you a little story that I stumbled across a Tony Robbins CD back in the day.
Oh, wait.
If you know what those are. And this guy's like, whatever fires together, wires together. And then he's like, and you can't be a coward. You got to face all your trauma. He's like, so go back into one of the worst moments of your life, mm-hmm. and re-experience it, which everyone's afraid to do. Mm-hmm. So don't be a coward. Go save yourself. Go into that dark place and slay the dragon. And so you go to that different situation, mm-hmm. and you go through the memory and the process and the feeling again, mm-hmm. but then you just change the meaning by interrupting patterns, like making the burglar turn into Mickey Mouse. Like, oh, that's weird. So you start to connect like something stupid to it. So it kind of dulls the pain a little bit, so you can give it a different meaning. And then it just becomes an experience. And then you're able to use that experience for something beneficial in your life.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. And there's so many different methods to doing that as well, right? Because yeah, that's it. And it's really through that power of your imagination,
Mm.
you know, because Freud, he has a model of the unconscious and conscious mind as a picture of an iceberg, right? And you've got the top of the iceberg is your conscious mind, and then you have the level of the water, which is your imagination, and then you have the underneath of the water, right, which is the unconscious mind. And really what it is that level of the water, imagination, is your route to communicating with your subconscious mind, right? So actually, and that's one thing that NLP does, is it leverages the power of your imagination and takes you through certain process, and it takes you through that process to really change the state, or change the meaning, or change the feeling that you have to an experience or a thought, to an experience, and it works, and it changes how you feel, and actually with a bit more practice and reinforcement, you can, you know, make it eventually disappear, those things, right? And like you said, or you can apply it to something useful. So, you know, if you're feeling I can't give an example. Let's see, if you're feeling trying to think of a motivation, right? Let's say you feel really hungry. Okay, this is a good one. Let's say you feel really hungry, right?
I'm always hungry.
Right? But like, you really, you know that hunger when you just, that insatiable hunger, like you see something and you're really hungry, you open the fridge, and then you're just like, you could literally dive your head into the fridge kind of hunger, right? So
I don't know where you're eating.
Right, exactly. I you know, I think they put something in the food sometimes, right?
Right, exactly. Crack.
But if you want to lose weight, that's not useful, right? Because you're gonna eat yourself, and then you're gonna put on weight, and it's not gonna work for you. But if you wanted to be that hungry for your goals, you know, maybe that would be useful, right? So that's what we do. You go use your imagination to explore what that experience is like for you in your you know, within your reality, and using that power of your imagination to just transform that into something that already exists in you, because you're already going to know what that insatiable hunger feels like if you've already experienced it. So it's you're not even creating a new feeling. You just create an association.
Yeah, the association, the links. So I think I've used something similar to that to rewrite my whole narrative of myself. You know, like, so I used to be like just a victim, you know, like, oh, you don't understand. This is the reason I can't do this. This is the reason I'm here. This is the reason I'm helpless, you know? But then at some point, I started rewriting the story of like, no, the reason that I can succeed at something is because I went through this. You know, it's like kind of reframing your entire narrative of yourself. And then you look for ways to reinforce that thought process throughout your daily life, or the opportunity to like turn that scared little boy into someone that is going to face everything that's scary. So like throughout that process, now I can't stand, man, it drives me crazy. Like the 23, 24-year-old version of myself was such a pussy. He just blamed everybody for everything. So sometimes I go a little crazy on people when I see that version of myself, like this kid that had a lot of potential. And I hate that version that's like scared of taking responsibility for doing the work that it might take to become someone you can look in the mirror and actually respect. Like, I don't like cowards, and I don't like cowardice. I don't like running from confrontation. I like having awkward conversations if it's going to make things better. You know, I like negotiating for a raise. because I feel like assertiveness is something that I really lacked, you know?
Yeah.
So even if they're like, I'm going to pay you this much, and it's like more than I need or expected, I'm still going to negotiate because, you know, it's like just being assertive helps you reinforce that relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah. And you're very, and it's so great that you've been able to recognize what you want to change, what it is you want, and how to go about it. And you've seen those opportunities within yourself to go and find those states which you want to experience. You know, I want to be more assertive, so you went and did things so you could go and feel assertive. So now I know what it feels like to feel assertive, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to reinforce it again and again, right? But you know, I do think it's really important though to acknowledge that, you know, we go through things. We have life happens, we have life experiences, you know, and these things do not always work in our favor. We may not like the person that we was once before in the past, you know, but being that person had a purpose, being that person had a reason, had a blessing, had a gift within itself. So I think to hate the gift is almost to hate yourself, you know. And I think that it's important to, and this was a tricky thing, and even now, you know, I have to remind myself, I meditate on it, because I know it's so important to love no matter, and to love even that part of yourself that you did not like, that you did not want, that wasn't you. Because, you know, I would not describe myself now as a person that would just bend over backwards just to please people and just make them happy, you know, whereas I would have said that I was that person before. And I definitely believe that is really, and I think this is as well, another part is just actually embracing embracing everything about yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, the amazing, you know, because and actually acknowledging that it's all amazing, because without you having that one experience and without me having that experience, we may not have known any different, and we may not have known what we actually wanted to be at this point where we are today. I know, you know, and I feel like where we are today is such a blessing. It's such an amazing place to be. The fact that we're here right now, just even recording a podcast and expressing ourselves and our ideas, and we've connected from different parts of the world. Like, to me, that's incredible. And I may not have been here if I hadn't have gone through that pain, if I hadn't gone through that part of myself, which, you know, at the time I wasn't proud of, you know.
Right.
So
I have a couple layers to that. So you were saying that version had a purpose. So is it had a purpose, or we gave it a purpose? Because at that point, it was just my default setting, right? Just like the people that we are right now, even though we're using like some of our bad experiences for the empowerment or the like good, maybe the people that we are now, or the characteristics that we embrace, that is someone else's default system that they're programmed to. You know, like some people are like just automatically successful and they've never struggled with it. Not never, but like it's just like who they have always been, because they've been shaped into this person, and they've never really reflected on their behavior. They're just like, yeah, it's just how it is. Like I just make deals, and everywhere I go I make improvement, and I'm assertive, and because they've learned that stuff as a default setting. And that version that I don't like in myself, I learned that by the default. So maybe it didn't have a purpose then, because it was just put into my brain, nervous system, yada, yada, yada. But at some point I woke up and was like, ooh, I can change this. And since I don't like that version or the results that version gave me, let me embrace something different. What do you think? Am I
Okay,
onto
so
something, or I'm just talking shit?
no. So I think so. What if I'm trying? I was trying to kind of understand what you were saying. So was you? So you were saying that actually you first said is your past self. Did it have the purpose initially, or did we give the purpose to it once we afterwards? Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said, and
Yeah.
so and. If the purpose was the purpose would have already existed. If the purpose was there to find, that
Mm-hmm.
purpose was already existed to be there to be found.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking at like it as a super whole of like a piece of the universe's plan kind of thing.
I don't even think it's a universe's plan. I think it's the fact that we when we're brought up into this society is built for us to be a certain way, and that is to actually allow the environment to take us over. We're basically born into society. We're like, here we go, here's everything you need, and here's your food, here's your thing, this is what we're going to do. And we go into a society which has rules and regulations, and then we were told we need to follow those rules and those regulations, when actually there's so much more to life, and there's so much more to our existence than just this day-to-day life of rules and regulations. Mm-hmm. Right, but we're told to conform to that. So I guess I am talking about something bigger, in the sense that I believe that we exist in this world to live a great life, an impactful life that it fulfills us and makes us happy. But most of us are fooled into following in a system that makes us believe that we're fulfilled and happy. And I think it's difficult to look beyond that unless you choose to go and look beyond that. But mm-hmm. we choose to stay. But most of us choose to stay in that system.
Or maybe we don't choose because we're unaware.
Maybe you're unaware as to what decision you're basing your decision. You're still making a choice, but you're just basing your decision on your past experience. You're basing your decision based on either you're either basing your decision on either gaining pleasure or pain. That's the fundamental, that's something Tony Robbins talks about as well, right? That's how human mechanism is, that we avoid pain or we go and seek pleasure. So I think
I have a question. Mm-hmm. I would say that depends.
Okay.
Because it's contextual, right? Mm-hmm. So on a base level, we go to pleasure, avoid pain. Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with Jordan Peterson by chance?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I have.
The patriarch. So I'll give you an example. Pleasure and pain, right? Kind of bad, good. Similarly, people think of it like that. All right. Mm-hmm. So you put your hand on a stove and you take it away right away because you're trying to avoid pain. Mm-hmm. Unless by putting your hand on that stove, you can save your baby. Mm-hmm. So now I'm going towards pain for something more meaningful or higher up on my value hierarchy.
Yeah. And in that sense as well, the pain of losing the child would outweigh the physical pain of the flame, mm-hmm. So
yeah. But you might get pleasure out of being a hero. So I guess.
But then that person's got to outweigh if that pleasure outweighs the pain of them losing their child.
Yeah. I like it. Isn't that weird? That's like 4 layers deep right there.
It really is.
It's like Inception. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I have. I love it. It's great. I love movies like that. I love movies that make you think and catch you out. But you know, it's actually interesting you mentioned Jordan B. Peterson, because I think this really rolls onto that question we asked about, that kind of topic around purpose and maybe something bigger going on. And also when you mentioned around how there's people who are rich who kind of have everything set out for them and things like that.
Or their behaviors are default that of a successful person.
Yeah.
Like they're very conscientious, they're industrious, they work hard, they, you know, just autopilot.
Yeah.
A success autopilot, you know, they don't even know why. They're like, this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
And then like when you're growing up poor and like in the crazy environment, you're like, how's that so easy for them?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I can't even look someone in the eye. And they're like charismatic, like closing big business deals and like telling people exactly what they feel, and like just like default, they're set up for success right off the bat.
Yeah. But you know, either way, that person, they could, you know, they could look, you could give someone who's had no money, right? And you could give them loads and loads of money. And if they, you know, if they behave a certain way, they can lose all that money because maybe they don't know how to handle it. You know, and even someone who comes from a privileged background, there is that risk as well that they might not know how to handle certain aspects of that lifestyle that they've been given, right? And they can still end up in those patterns of patterns of negative behavior that we all fall victim to, as we like to say, right?
Not me. I've never.
But what Jordan B. Peterson really, I didn't watch the whole thing, but there was he basically was like, you know, we're all born with a certain amount of privilege, right? We're all born in different privileges. Some, you know, but he goes, actually, all that means is we're having to do more good deeds and do more things in order to actually achieve that sense of peace and happiness and fulfillment, if that makes sense. So, you know, even though someone may come from a privileged background and they may have all these opportunities handed to them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be happy, fulfilled, and content with their lives and feel that sense of meaning. You know, I met someone literally only the other day who spoke about all of the amazing watches and luxury cars and big mansion and all this money. And it, you know, we're not complaining about money here. Okay, let's just get that clear.
Right. No, let's have a good connection with money. But this guy sounds like a wanker. Is that what they say over there?
Yeah. But you know what kind of alarmed me more in my mind? I was thinking, you know, it was, but what else? You know, what else? Because this person seemed unhappy, and but obviously they were happy with all this stuff, but you know, they had issues with their family, and it's like it feels like their life lacked meaning. And that person wasn't happy. They had all of this amazing stuff, but they wasn't happy. So for me, it's like now that person still has to learn how to become aware of themselves, learn how to manage their thoughts, learn how to, you know, step out of these conditions and programmings just as much as anybody else does. It's just they just have to go about it differently, but it doesn't earn them that place.
Right. Do you think happiness is overrated?
100%. I think it's overmarketed. I mean, I think
okay, good, we're on the same page, because I'm
right?
I'm thinking like the biggest archetypical figures in history, they weren't happy, but they were going after something very meaningful to them. Like Christ, he wasn't always happy. He was mostly frustrated and pissed. People weren't listening. And then he's carrying his cross. He's like, all right, here it is. Let's go. But he voluntarily confronted it.
Yeah.
Because he was going towards his truth.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that's what we have to do, right? We have to voluntarily. Yeah. We have to voluntarily put ourselves in that situation to go and dig deep.
Mm-hmm. confront the world, right? Not avoid it. And it's funny because your nervous system is completely different if you're confronting something versus hiding from it. Like, there's a study about two rats. They made them run on a wheel. One, they let him run on the wheel. And then they took another one and they made him run on the wheel. Same time, same speed. Should be same results. But one did it voluntarily, and that rat's cortisol went down. All the good hormones came to light. And over here, this rat was really stressed out because it was being forced to exercise. So like, if there's your nervous system, from what I understand, you can either act like a little prey animal, like a scared rabbit everywhere you go, or you can act like a animal that's ready to defend itself. So like, it's not always the smartest thing, but sometimes like a wolf will run from a grizzly bear, but then at some point that wolf's like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna fight. It's probably not gonna end well, but that wolf probably feels different. Like, it's like, all right, here comes the challenge and I'm taking it on no matter what.
Yeah.
And the bear's thinking, man, this wolf's pretty stupid, I'm about to kill this thing. Like, and humans, we have a tendency to do that too. Like, if we're about to public speak and there's like 30 people just staring at you, it's like, holy shit, like when you're on your live, great example, you're like, oh shit, all right, here we go. And then you stepped into it, even though you're like, wow, I should bail out of here. Like, like the instinct's like, whoo, all right, this is different. Let me turn this thing off. No, let's just stay here. We're gonna go. Talk to me about that.
So yeah, that's really, it really sounds like that you're talking about fight and flight response, right? And really,
I like
that's
fight.
Fight and
Yeah,
flight.
let's go.
And it's really that is recognizing that part of us, which is our human instinct, right? Which is our innate human ways of doing things, including limiting our thoughts as well, saying, okay, well, this is I am like my environment dictates who I am, or dictates me, or dictates what I do. That's a part of our instinct, because we learn that when we were a baby, right? We learn, okay, actually this environment is going to feed me, this environment is going to love me and keep me safe, and this is my mother. So we create the environment association, and that really, that kind of just losing trail of thought here. But yeah.
I can see it in your eyes. It's okay. I was like, oh. I don't know
why that happened, but yeah.
It's probably because look at this. I mean, this is distracting.
I'm sure you just went like that a minute ago. No, I'm joking. Pick up the bike. It's okay. Sorry, just remind me really quickly. So yeah. I don't lose that. I know I had a really good point.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Oh, I forgot what we're talking about.
No, you were talking about the bear, and you said.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
You were saying, how do I? And then you spoke about my anxiety, like my little attack. How do I kind of get out of that? Right. So then I said, right. Okay, so it's basically recognizing that actually what part is playing the instinct, and what part is actually just a matter of me making a decision right now, or me learning something right now, or me doing something right now. So for me, it's like when I have a moment where I feel like, okay, am I going to run, or am I going to right? If I feel that kind of push and pull, that kind of thing happen, I remind myself where I am, what I'm doing it for, and what I'm about to do. And I recognize that I'm not in a fight or flight situation. I'm actually in a situation where I'm making my dreams happen. And that is something that then makes that little moment of that emotion, that feeling. Because look, this too shall pass, right? Famous. We all know it. We all know it. This too shall pass. That is exactly it. Even that fight or flight, that feeling of oh shit, it passes, it goes, and then next minute you're living your dream because you're doing the thing that you set out to do. And it's like all you had to do was just let that feeling pass. And most people, they don't let that feeling pass. They just react, and they'll quit, or they'll just react and they freeze, or they just react in a way that just does not allow them to be be the person that they want to be. They allow that thing to just run them, and it's like, it's just a feeling. Let it pass.
Mm-hmm. So, what does it take to get past that? If you had to sum it up in one word, that's the tricky part.
One word.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Breathe. Okay.
Breathe.
I was thinking courage.
Courage. Oh, that did actually come into my head. The first one, but then I thought,
take a breath and then proceed.
Practical, yeah. I thought, let me give something practical, because sometimes it's that giving yourself that moment to just let it pass, right?
Yeah, in between the stimulus and the reaction, just that little buffer, that buffer space might be a breath.
Exactly. And there is one more thing I do as well, which I think is really worth sharing. Is I do this if that doesn't work. I will close my eyes, right? And I'll remind myself of the state that I want to be in. So if I want to be calm, for example, if I want to be focused, if I want to be hyped up, let's say, for example, I'm about to go and do a workout, being in a sleepy state, it's not going to help me out. I need to get hyped, I want to be like, yeah, I want to feel the pump. So, I will close my eyes and I will think of a time where I last felt that state. So I'll think of a time, when did I last feel pumped? Okay, it was that workout. Yeah, that workout was a serious workout. Or, when's the last time I was relaxed? Okay, yeah, now I want to be relaxed. And I'll just allow myself to sit in that feeling. And then I'll make a decision as to what I'm going to do next. And that usually helps a lot, especially when I'm in the gym as well and I feel like giving up, or I feel like not going, or it's just we wait to feel motivated, but we wait to instinctually feel motivated, but really you could just kind of close your eyes and remind yourself what motivation feels like. And if you really kind of sit in it, when you open your eyes, it's like you can take that feeling of motivation and you can be like, right, I'm going to use this really quickly. I'm going to decide to go to the gym right now. Okay, let's go. Yeah, before it
right, before you grab the bowl of Cheetos.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have Cheetos over there?
We do. They sell them in the local corner shop now. the hot twisty ones.
Yeah. Hey, let me show you. Let's see. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna show you a little something that I picked up.
Oh, wow. Incredible true story of one man's rise from janitor to top executive. Wow. Richard P. And it's flaming hot. Amazing.
He invented the flaming hot Cheetos.
Have you read it yet, or is it?
No, I just picked it up. It's brand new.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. I bet it's got that good book smell.
Yes, it does. Yeah, people think that's weird, but I love the smell of books, especially like older ones.
Oh, yeah.
I can make a cologne out of it. Just be like, damn, you smell like old books. Like,
I wonder if you could do that though. That might be a thing.
Yeah. I'm just walking around smelling like an old dusty library.
I mean,
and then all the
with a bit of vanilla.
Yeah, all the book lovers are like, oh wow, you smell like chapter 6.
I mean,
it worked.
I reckon. You'll get some weird people doing some weird things with it, I think.
That already happens. So it is what it is. So tell me about some of your goals.
My goals. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
this is about you.
Thank you.
People don't want to hear me rattle my lips about myself. I do that all the time.
So my goals is really to, look, I'm on a mission to really help women kind of come out of that place of feeling how I was, like feeling stuck and feeling held back and not feeling control of their life, to feeling, empowered to go and really make decisions, to be themselves and go and express themselves and make impactful decisions and, really find peace with their past. And just, I really believe that everyone has this light within them. And it's one of the reasons why I became a coach as well, was because I'd always see potential in people, and I'd feel so much joy from knowing that, from helping someone fulfill their potential and what they believe that they are really capable of. So I want to spread that to as many people as possible, through courses, and through a platform. I'm going to be launching a Facebook group soon, because I thought it would be really great to have a place where, people who are really interested in and really kind of wanting to break free from themselves and kind of step into this place, it'll be more of a intimate setting with even more, and I can add more specific and even more value to that group. So I'm really
and then they can help each other too, right?
Exactly.
Your little tribe can help each other. Oh, this worked for me, or this worked for me, or like combining some of the techniques that you share with them, but they put their own twist on it, and then they start all helping each other, and it's just a big love fest.
That's exactly it. And the thing is, I was thinking about the other day, when I was in school, I didn't have a big group of friends or anything. I was very much with individual people, and I always used to fantasize about having like this big group of girlfriends that I'd just go out with, or we'll just be like talking ideas and just lifting each other up. And it just occurred to me, like, hell, I'm like, let me make my own group. Like, why am I waiting for my own female group to turn up for me? Let me create a group, create a space where we're all like-minded women, and and like you said, share the love, feel the love, lift each other up, and just kind of go on this journey together. That to me is like, that is my goal, to really set this. And even within myself, I've got goals for my own personal development, for my own study. And
let me hear it.
Definitely. So I'm actually at the moment learning different therapy models, like Gestalt therapy. I'm looking to go into my master practitioner training as well. I'm reading books now around, different business strategies, and learning how to really become, really step into that entrepreneurial way of life. And it really has been a lesson getting to that, which for me was a surprise, because I remember I once thinking being an entrepreneur is just this innate ability, like you're just born with it, you're just born with the skills of being an entrepreneur. What? I don't know how many people really believe. I mean, just imagine, right? And maybe someone listening to this might be in this position as well, right? Where you're sitting at work and you're fantasizing about having your own business. And I wonder how many people literally, or even living their day-to-day life, and they go, you know what, I should start my own business. But they never do, and they never will do, because they just believe that it will just happen.
Yeah, definitely not. But a lot of people think that, or if you see successful people, you're like, oh, must be nice.
Yeah, they must be lucky. Oh, that's another one I hear. They must be lucky. They must be. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Like you said, there's people who are born into privilege. There's people who are born into money, and they probably use those resources to expand and to fulfill their dreams and goals, right? But that person still needs to learn how to manage finances. That person still needs to learn how to market. That person still needs to learn they still need to learn the skills of being an entrepreneur. They just have a different method of learning those skills, right? It's not a case you're born with it and you're not. You have to learn. So for me, my goals are, and I'm already doing this as well, is just developing my entrepreneurial skills and really become, and evolving and growing.
So the reason you want to be an entrepreneur is because you can take your little mission to touch that one person.
Exactly.
And make a difference.
Exactly.
But then you can scale it, and actually your one intention becomes a huge ripple.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly that. And it's the case of, to have that impact, I want to put my whole heart and soul into it. I am putting my whole heart and soul into having this impact. So learning how to make something big and impactful, using the systems which we have in place in our society right now in order to be able to reach out to that many people. The entrepreneurial skills is what's going to help me get there.
Yeah, entrepreneurship's like the ultimate personal development course.
Yeah,
because it's like you go through all these limiting beliefs. You have to learn systems. You have to learn psychology. You have to learn marketing, sales, web design, like all this shit that is just so frustrating. It was crazy because when I first, so I'm not an entrepreneur successfully yet, but I've been grinding it out for like 8 years, trying different things, like trying to figure out what resonates most with like myself. And I've went down the path of like just trying to make money, and it never lasts because as soon as it gets hard, there's no meaning behind it, And then I've brought things back to what's always been there. And it's like always the desire to learn and like read books and find that next nugget that I can implement into my life, or like that might take the skin off my eyes and let me see the world differently, But it's wild because let's say 7-8 years ago, trying to learn how to build a website, you have no idea what WordPress is, like none of this shit. You don't even know what word to Google to try to figure out what problem you have because you don't know what problem you have. Like I've wanted to throw my laptop out the window so many times trying to figure it out early on. And now if I had to, I probably could get like a 1-page website up in like 20 minutes.
Literally. I had to learn that as well. And I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I feel your pain. And, but that is the journey, isn't it? That's how you learn. I think, that's how you learn, and we all go through it, and we can now teach other people as well how to do those things so that they may not have to go through all of that. But
right. So tell me about your marketing. Have you ever heard of the Dream 100?
No, I haven't. Believe it or not.
Haven't. Let me enlighten you a little bit.
Oh, go for it.
So there's a guy named Russell Brunson. He has a book called Traffic Secrets. And he talks about where are your dream customers hanging out? The people that you're trying to help. Yeah. Where are they already? You find one person that has a podcast about overcoming, environmental, yada, 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 whatever your perfect client is. So you get a description of that perfect client, and then you find out where they're hanging out. And then you partner with that person to serve them, or to find a way to, even if you don't know who they are, maybe they're just on a website like girlpower.com, and it has so many subscribers. Yeah. You can start working your way in with that website by hanging out in the comment section, or even running ads to people that follow that particular website. And then you do that 100 times. You find 100 pools that you can swim in with these people, and all your customers are already there. So you don't necessarily have to build your own tribe right away. You can see they're already out there somewhere trying to solve the exact problems that you can solve for them.
That's true. At the moment, I use Instagram and when I look, and obviously we have the insights function as well. So the insights function does tell me that my target audience is, I got 25 to 35 females. That makes up a majority of the people who are following my content. So I think that's really insightful to know. I've also recently joined Clubhouse because I noticed that there's so many. It's crazy because I literally went on there. I can't believe I didn't go on it sooner, to be honest with you, because there's so many people on there who are just willing to learn. And I think that is the main thing, is actually is kind of putting myself in front of people who are willing to learn what it takes to really kind of do the work for themselves, so they can really transform their lives, so and Clubhouse is something I'm coming to realize is this great platform of different people or voices and people willing to learn off each other and having these open discussions, and it's a great platform to attract and attract this tribe. But I feel like my tribe has already started, and that really started all on Instagram from and I've got women on my account right now who we've kind of followed and who I've worked with as well for this last year, and we're still, and I feel connected to each and every one of them, right? I feel like even after we've worked together, that connection hasn't died, and they're still, they're still with me, and they're still part of that group, and I absolutely love that. And my intention is to keep that energy there, that real kind of just a great bond with everyone. So Clubhouse is another one.
So you're sexist?
I'm sexist, unfortunately. You know what, it's interesting because isn't
it funny that you can have an ideal client,
right,
and nobody sees that as sexist, but if you do anything else in the world, they're like, you're sexist. I'm like, no, I just like hanging out with dudes. Sorry. Like
I would love to work with everybody. And absolutely, and I believe I will work with everybody.
What about people that identify as a cat?
I mean, I think
they need you. They need you. Like cats don't use laptops, so.
Maybe I could help them, change that up in their head so they don't see themselves as a cat. Maybe we can help them see themselves as a dragon or something a little bit more useful. I don't know. Right. Yeah. But I think
Tell me about your current relationship with working out, and are you in a relationship right now?
No, I'm not. I am single.
You're single and ready to transform lives.
Yes, exactly. I'm single, ready to transform lives, and so open to meeting my potential soul partner in the near future. But right now it's single, ready to change lives. I have all this time to dedicate to myself, my business, my family, my friends, my life. It is
You know what's odd, like, because I'm pretty independent kind of guy, I've never given women enough credit to give you a little extra juice in the tank, like not that way. I mean, like I can be going through something like just pissed or, frustrated or discouraged or whatever. But my wife, she can just come in and give me some energy. So like, I know you can do it. Like, you're going to make it happen. Just keep going. I'm like, you sure? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, here we go. It's like, I never realized that and my wife has real feminine energy, you know.
Hmm.
I never knew that like just loving me no matter what and like just accepting me for who I am could like give me so much add into my grit, you know? Like
Hmm.
there's been so many times where she's seen me trying some new experiment and it just completely tanks. I'm like, fuck. And she's like, well, I know you're not gonna quit. So I mean,
Oh.
it's gonna happen. I'm just like, bang, this little woman can get me going. You
She
know?
sounds like a amazing woman, and
She
like,
is.
aren't you? You're very lucky.
Yeah. Yes. That's for sure.
Spread the word.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I've tried to convince her to leave me, but
Well, that's
she
good.
won't.
That's real love. That's
Right.
amazing.
Right. It's like, so when you get that partner,
Hmm.
it's going to be kind of, it's weird to find the perfect fit. It's like, who's going to not be jealous if you become super successful and maybe you're the breadwinner and he's not, you know? Like,
Who knows what happened? Listen, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who I'm going to meet. I don't know if they're going to earn more than me or less than me. But hopefully, if it is the case, it's not a problem. You know?
right. Yeah. So explain your perfect partner.
Oh my God! Explain my perfect partner. Now you're asking.
It,
I don't think there's such thing as perfect. So
right.
maybe
Okay.
I
But
could
there's
dodge
some
that one. I'm joking. I'm
there's
joking.
some categories though that you know for sure that you'll want in a partner, you know,
Definitely.
and they might, you know, they're all of us are imperfect. That's just the way it is. Like, I thought I was gonna like end up as like some hardcore businesswoman, you know. I'm like that's just like addicted to personal development. And like I'm like, and then I met my wife. I'm like, wow, this is the exact energy that I need, but it's the exact opposite of what I thought.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I know what I don't want based on what I've been, I guess, the relationships that I've had in the past.
Right.
I know that I want to be able to have that person communicate, be on the same level as me, and in a sense of we just share each other's language, I suppose.
Mm.
And I want that because I spent so long in a relationship where I felt like the communication just was toxic. So I think for
Mm-hmm.
me it's really having non-toxic communication, and it's really important for me to meet someone who has a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And I think, and that's really for a case of, because I'm in a growth mindset. I think for me there's frustrations. There's frustrations with maybe building a life of growth with somebody who's wanting to be fixed. So
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really just more open to meeting new energy, meeting new personalities, new characters, and just discovering what works for me, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a suitable partner is really like. I just know I want them to be kind, and I want them to be growing, and I want them to be following their passion in life. I think that's
Mm-hmm. So you want them to have a mission. All right, let me put, so is your partner male or female or either? Male?
male.
Okay. Okay. So let me put you in different situations and see how you would describe him handling that situation.
Okay.
Ideally, in line
Okay.
with your ideal. Okay.
Okay.
So you guys are sleeping.
Yeah.
You wake up. There's a crazy person at the front door. How does your man handle that?
Goes to the door and says, "Who are you?"
Okay.
Tries
Okay.
to investigate. They'd probably go and try and investigate, and if they feel like we're in immediate danger, then either call the police
Either call the police
or I don't know. I mean, I'd assume
I
like if
mean,
I was to be at the front door and someone was to like maybe try and attack me, then obviously I would try and like protect myself. So I'd assume that they would do the same.
okay. Ideally.
Ideally, yeah.
Or so you don't want someone to like just hope that the police come and then
Well,
hide.
no. Well, no, because that makes no sense, does it?
Right.
You
No,
want
you have to
some,
be your own hero until the police
yeah,
come.
you know, you have to be logical. You have to call the police, you
And then
know,
handle your business until the
and
police
handle
get
the
there.
business. Well, yeah,
Right.
you're gonna have to. What choice do you have? Well, you have a
Right.
choice. You can either let that person attack you, or let bad things happen, or
Right.
let that scenario play out, or you can choose to protect yourself and
Right.
protect your family, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So if someone knocks on my door in the middle of the night and my
Yeah.
wife is in there,
Yeah.
I'm going to the front door
Yeah.
and I'm going to make sure that person is not a threat.
Yeah.
And if they are, I'm going to hope my wife can hear what's going on and call the cops. But I'm not relying on the cops.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to wait 6 to 8 minutes for a cop to show up to handle my business. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to handle it and make sure nothing endangers my wife. You know.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah. Okay. Okay. So we're on the same page. All right. So let's say your partner has been
Hmm.
rejected for a promotion.
Okay.
How does he handle that?
I think they would have the initial emotion as to whatever that might feel like. And then they would talk to me about it. And then we would try and make him feel better and figure out what's next.
What's next? Okay, so like persistence. Who would he? What would he look to as a reason for the promotion not working or not getting the promotion? What would he say the reason is?
Well, I'd like to just think that they would be honest with themselves as to whatever that reason is.
So
I wouldn't know.
you would like him to look in the mirror and be honest.
100%. Do you know,
Okay.
actually, you know, now we mentioned honesty, I do recall, I remember once I wrote a list down. I don't know if you know the book, The Law of Attraction
Oh
by
yeah.
Michael Osdier, right? He basically does a task in there where you write want versus don't want. And I remember it was probably like a year ago, I wrote down, I did the exercise. And
Yeah.
I remember I'm recalling it. Now I remember
Mm-hmm.
one of the top things being honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I find that I consider myself a non-judgmental person. I think someone could tell me the terrible, terrible things or they believe to be terrible things that they've done or said. And I don't feel anger, resentment, or I don't feel any that kind of the usual, I guess there's no judgment or there's no kind of me going, what the fuck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I have a completely different approach, I guess. So
What if they lie to you? What if they're
what
not honest? If they're not honest, would you judge them then for being a punk bitch?
I would want to find out. I would want to find out why. Like, why did that person lie? Like, you know,
Because they're a coward.
Yeah, possibly that could be
no,
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
What else? It takes a lot of balls to be honest. Like
it does. Yeah.
Babe, I'm insecure right now.
Yeah.
Babe, I'm afraid. Babe, I feel like a failure.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of courage.
It does.
Right?
But it's
so if they're hiding that stuff, maybe not them personally, but if I'm hiding that stuff, I feel like a punk bitch.
Mm.
You know, if you feel like crying, go ahead and cry. Because you want to confront those emotions and experience them. You don't want to run. Oh, I might cry right now. Let me go hide out of the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've cried on an Instagram live once. That was wild. Like I didn't think that was going to happen. All of a sudden, I'm like, here I am. Didn't expect it. I'm not going to run from my emotions. I'm not going to run from the truth. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, you fucked up, Mike. You know, like the reason you didn't get promoted is because of this or this or this, or maybe you don't know why, but it has something to do with you.
Literally. And I think that's so important, because I think if your partner's not going to judge you, if your partner's not going to be like, okay, well, if you feel insecure, well, stop being so pathetic. Like, yeah, I think if you're not going to get
Oh,
that
right.
response,
Yeah,
you
it's
know what I
different.
mean? Yeah, if they say, right, I'm feeling insecure, and I'm gonna respond with a case of with maybe what that person needs at the time, or why do you feel that way, or what's, what can be done to change this, or whatever that may be. So I think but you have to be honest, even with the bad things as well, because otherwise it just lingers as in a different behavior, and it's going to, you cannot hide from a lie.
Right.
You cannot hide from it. And and the more even I learn about the mind, and even more even I learn about, you cannot hide. You can't say I'm a gym person, right? Because I remember
Oh boy, I got you. Come on, let it out.
I remember once, I think I was at university at this time, right? And I used to have a gym membership, and I used to be like, yeah, I think I went 3 times a week, 4 times a week for like 2 weeks, and then I didn't go. But I was still telling people I was going to the gym. I was still saying, yeah, I'm still going gym, yeah, free. But really, I just had this empty membership. But the thing is, it's like, how long are you going to hold that one up for? If you're not going to the
Right.
gym, your body's not going to change. I mean, it's just no way. Now I really go to the gym, I'm really realizing, okay, this is what happens. This is what you look like when you tell people you're going to gym. Like, but I remember when I was at uni, I just used, I don't know, because I
Yeah.
used to, I was just thinking, oh God, I got that, you tell yourself really ridiculous things. But for me, it's like, imagine then having a relationship where it's like, first of all, hiding that you're not going to the gym is ridiculous. First of all, right? It's really not that big of a deal. If you're not going, you're not going. Fuck it. No one cares, really.
Right.
Right? And second of all, like, you're only just doing yourself harm. So in that relationship, it's like,
Right.
something's going to show.
But you know what it tells you though?
Your behavior's going to show.
What it tells you is that you want to be a person that goes to the gym 3 times a week.
I am a person that goes gym 3 times a week.
Right. So you eventually lived into that ideal,
Oh, yeah. See?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
maybe
it took a little action. A little action though.
Yeah, it did. And it took a long time to happen. When I first went to the gym, I thought to myself I wasn't going to like it. I actually ended up going, not really out of like, I went out of choice, but it was more my friend went, and I was just like, she was invited me. She's like, oh, do you want to come to the gym? And I was just like thinking to myself, what am I going to do at the gym? I don't even like the gym. But I went anyway. And like, I'm just like, I'm going gym after this conversation.
Yeah.
Like, and I've already done my 3 times quota, but I'm going again because I just want to, because I really enjoy the gym.
Yeah.
Just like, and it's like, I'm like, who am I? Like, how did I even, and I know how but I worked to develop this mindset. This mindset didn't just happen on its own, you know. It
Someone
had
to unleash the tiger in you.
Yeah, we created it. Yeah.
Let her off the chain.
To stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was the transformation was like, it wasn't just going, everyone can start. It's the it's the sticking at it, it's the consistency part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I struggle with. I'm a great starter. I start a lot of shit. And I'm like, that's going in the wrong direction. I'm losing too much fat. Because I had like this scrawny kid syndrome in my mind.
Really? But was you scrawny?
Yeah, I was real scrawny. Like growing up, always too small. Oh, you're too small to play sports. Oh, you're too little, blah, 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 blah. So then I got a little bit, like my fat kind of fills me in a little bit. So if I start to like, all of a sudden I'm starting to get 4 abs, I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling scrawny. Because when I was real scrawny, the only thing I had was abs. No other muscle, like, so I like, there's this little image of, oh, you're going to look scrawny.
Yeah.
But like me being scrawny is still like 190 pounds, but it's just like, that's not a scrawny guy. It's just like in my head, I'm like, I'm a scrawny little bitch, but I'm not.
You're not. No, you're definitely not.
So it's like this weird thing that I battle with. You know, I don't want to be fat, but I don't want to be skinny. I want to be athletic and strong. That's what I want to be, really.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting is when you said oh I feel scrawny, you went like this.
Oh.
So so it's like you hear it over here in your
right. It's like I know it's not real.
Yeah, you know it's not real. So it's like, so let's say for example, if we was to if we was to use like NLP for example, this is a great example here. We're just using it. It's like that sound. You might want to like turn the volume down on it, or
right.
you know, go back to, or like turn it down. Maybe maybe shove it towards the back somewhere.
Throw it away. All right?
Yeah, and just throw it away, because then you know it's like that is your representation of your mind, right? Of where that what that experience.
I didn't know that was subconscious. So yeah, like right. I know it's just a little voice over here. I know it's not reality, but I'm just like, shut up, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Punch it away, like yeah. But yeah, but that, I did what you just did there as well. I mean, we just kept, you know, is a really great example of how we communicate our internal language externally.
Let's play a game.
Okay.
Let's finish the situation. Okay. You and your man are driving down the, what do you guys call it there? Highway? Road. Okay. You see a car flipped over in the ditch.
Yeah. Okay.
What does he do?
Stops the car and gets out and investigates and tries to help.
Okay, gotcha. All right. What does he do when he sees a little kid?
Says hello, or waves, or pulls a funny face or something.
Okay, so he's friendly. Okay. What does he do at night with his free time?
Whatever he wants to do.
Okay.
Whatever gives him joy to do at night. Look, the sun's going down.
The sun's going down?
Yeah.
So he watches Netflix if he feels like it. He reads a book.
Yeah.
If he feels like it. What does he do more often? Does he watch Netflix or does he read a book?
Reads.
Okay, gotcha. So there is a bias leaning towards reading versus mindless bullshit.
Yeah, but isn't afraid to like enjoy themselves if they really, you know, not in a case of like, you know, not someone who's like really rigid in like a robot.
I kind of get like that by accident because my wife's like, let's watch Harry Potter. I'm like, no, I want to watch a 2-hour documentary on economics. And she's like,
Harry Potter is like so much better.
yeah.
But I think you have to make room for those like just a small pleasure. It's just something to do that gives it's something pleasurable, right? It's something pleasant, and you know. And I think that's why it's so important to have balance in so many in things.
Yeah. Does he go for a jog or does he lift weights when he goes to the gym more often than not?
Honestly, I have no preference, but I lift weights. So, and it would be nice to like have like a male gym buddy, you know, we can kind of cheer each other on, but not all the time though. You know, sometimes I do just want to work out on my own, like, you know, not just have someone breathing down my neck.
Right.
You know,
lift it.
Yeah, and I'll just like, oh, you know, go away, like you're always in my space.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done with that game. I get it. All right, let's play another game. Are you ready?
Okay.
I want you to stand up.
Okay.
As long as you have pants or something covering you, and I want you to grab that the closest Post-it behind you and tell me what's on it.
What, in this side, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I just picked one.
Okay.
It says emails for release, mini course on. It's basically about emails, onboarding emails.
Email sequence. Okay.
onboarding emails.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, you got some business brewing. All right. Must be nice to set up all the systems.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's a learning curve for sure.
Mhm.
Like I'm just,
Mhm.
I'm learning the different ways of doing things. I mean, it doesn't really sound that exciting, but
what
it's something to me.
what software are you using for that?
For email onboarding,
Yeah.
um, I'm just using Google Workspace at the moment.
Like your Gmail or whatever.
Yeah, at the moment.
Okay.
But
Hmm.
that's it really. But I have a few options in terms of what email onboarding systems to use, like Active Campaign or
ConvertKit.
the Kajabi as well, and I also have Squarespace, which does emails. But it's just
Okay.
deciding at the moment as well. It's just deciding what kind of programs to go for um, when it kind of gets to that point, and then what's going to kind of allow everything to integrate and run
Hmm.
efficiently. But at the moment, the Gmail works.
Hmm. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, it's already been an hour and a half. Time flew.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, definitely.
And I have shit to do. So
Okay, brilliant. We'll call it a night or a
yeah.
day,
Right.
morning, in
Yeah.
other words.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's been a great conversation. I feel like
Hmm. I agree. So people can go to your limitless.her on Instagram, right?
yeah, limitless.her on Instagram and can
Uh,
follow and follow the good stuff, follow all the
right.
good
Or the flops.
lives. Yeah, or the flop. Yeah, because I'm doing lives now every Thursday at eight
Okay.
o'clock GMT
All right.
time. So we are. Well, I you're definitely just showing up and
And you have to realize that you're being recorded immediately.
yeah, that's fine. Show up,
Uh,
I'll show up, I'll be there. So
okay. All right. Well, it was great talking to you. We'll do it again. And don't
definitely.
forget that your hero is in the mirror. Hmm?
Oh,
Hmm.
thank you.
Hmm. Tell the truth.